I'm gonna put this baby in record mode, and Mr. Kerry, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of appreciate all of you having me tonight, and I really want to congratulate this team. You are all rocking it. I mean, I'm impressed. I go in Mickey's office every day, take a look, and she's got all these notes and the names of actually each and every one of you and what you're doing. And I said, wow. I said, man. I said, we've been doing this over 30 years. And we know and we see a really phenomenally strong team that's growing. And that's important because each one of you are very young in our business, but have the opportunity to build something of incredible substance that could literally just change your life. I mean, really, really can. Not just from a health standpoint, but also from a financial standpoint. So tonight, I want to give you a few lessons of what it takes to be a really good recruiter. And when you're a good recruiter and you can bring good people in the business with you, isn't that a lot more fun? Where you can have people that really are having fun, are having success, and the success is paid in dividends with something called a check. And look, there's nothing wrong with getting checks. Listen, we all love the product. The product is incredible. The product line, fruits, vegetables, and berries, and omegas, and the protein mix, the products are exceptional. But right now, the key is that we have the ability to build something huge. And we've got a lot going on. Now, I want you all to know before I get started with this training, next week, I just posted something on Keep Punching Boxer, and I just posted something on We Are Contagious on Facebook. If you want to be involved in growing the Spanish market, you be sure and read that information that's posted and press the like button so I know that you want to be involved. Because we're going to have a lot of people. We're going to offer this to some sideline friends. But I want to know who's involved here, so make sure that we have plenty of lines available for our local team, especially Team Limitless, because that Hispanic market is an extra market to work that's huge here in the United States of America. And with Mexico getting ready to open up toward the end of this year, it could be phenomenal for a lot of you, a big surprise. Not asking all of you to go after the Hispanic market. We just want to leave your mind open to understand that it's a huge, huge market. Well, learning new skills by asking questions is going to increase your chances for improvement in developing new partners and creating new sales teams. Questions are really the answer to developing new business and recruiting very successfully. So first of all, you have to learn that we want to all enter into a conversation that leads to an invitation mode and not a presentation mode when we speak into new prospects. What do I mean by that? Simply, many partners go directly into a seminar type presentation before developing some type of relationship with their prospect by developing a really good, strong conversation first. Your prospect should be doing 75% of the talking, and you should be doing 25%. If you're training a new partner, that changes that changes probably to 50-50. If you got someone that's already in the business, the conversation now becomes 50-50. Always remember, it's all about them. It's not about you. That's important. Now, when you're dealing with prospects and you're dealing with mentors, this is what's real important. If you're doing most of the talking, you aren't learning anything. So if you're working with mentors and people that have more experience than you and you want to learn how to grow the business, and you're on a call, whether it's a regular telephone call or whether it's a Zoom or any kind of conversation, it could be live, and you're doing most of the talking, you're missing out on learning. You learn from the people with experience. Your job is to ask good questions when you have a mentor or a support team in place that understands the business a little better than you do. So that's real important for you to understand. So if you're doing most of the talking, you're not learning. You've got to learn how to ask good, solid questions. That's what's important. I actually had an article, I've written many articles over the past 30 years in reference to our business, and there was an article that I wrote that's been reused all over the world, probably all 30 countries, and it's on the ability to ask good, solid questions. Now let's look at why questions can boost your recruiting process in developing a good conversation and lead to the invitation process. Most partners struggle with recruiting because they think about selling versus finding out what people really want in life. You do so by asking questions. Of course, I always have people ask me, Kerry, what are the right questions? And the answer is simple. It's the ones you ask. Now, I don't mean for you to interrogate your prospect. You need to get into a conversation. You're not a private investigator, okay? And it's about building trust. You see, trust is more important than motivation. When people trust you, you can try to motivate all you want, but when they trust you, they're gonna follow you and they're gonna listen to you. So the key is in developing trust by you having a sincere interest in who your prospect is and understanding if you're very patient and take your time with the prospect and they grow into trusting you, that particular prospect could become a distributor that leads you to hundreds, if not thousands of people across the world and helps build a team that literally could blow you away. We know because after 30 years, it's happened to us in many, many situations. So I'm gonna give you a few sample questions that I've learned over the last 30 years or so to utilize. Now remember, this is gonna take time to learn to be effective. So you're gonna have to practice this daily. The hard part is listening to your prospect's answers. That's the hard part. Don't ever interrupt. Listen to your prospects. Now, don't ask all these questions, just learn some of them and use them effectively as you listen to your prospects first by learning what they do, where they live, where their family is from, and more about who they are. Until you get good at knowing those answers, you're never gonna get the most out of building a big team. There should be introductory questions so you know who you're speaking to. I'm gonna give you some samples, okay? So one of the questions I'll use a lot, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? Especially when I'm training someone. Because a lot of times when I'm mentoring or training someone and the other person's doing all the talking, I try not to interrupt, but sometimes you have to interrupt because they're just not learning. They're just sitting there talking. So sometimes you have to interrupt when you're in a position of experience and mentorship so that you can wake them up and make them start listening. And you start with asking good questions. Your first meeting with your prospect should start with a conversation, as I mentioned earlier, not a presentation. Get to know them. Remember the acronym FORM, F-O-R-M. Family, occupation, recreation. Now the M can stand for three different things. It could stand for motivation, it could stand for money, and it could stand for management, a message, where you can get a message across to them. So in other words, where are you from? That's a good question. Where are you from? Is your family from here? So why is that important? All of a sudden, brother, sister, LA, brother, California, father lives in Italy. You follow what's happening here? By not asking good questions, you really don't understand what could possibly happen if you treat that prospect correctly. They're letting you know all the connections and the dots that could be connected to help you build a big team all across the country and across the world. Do you have any children? Where did you go to school? What are you degreed in? What kind of work do you do? What is your profession? Here you may find out that they are not working in the field that they're degreed in. That's important. What kind of work do you do? What is your profession? What are you degreed in? Not all at one time. Now listen, I'm giving you these quickly because I have a short amount of time to train you, so I'm gonna move as quick as I can, but you'll be able to get the concept here and understand exactly how you can use some of these questions to help you get a connection and understand your prospect and your potential partner a lot better. Be interested, be engaged as a listener. Now remember, you want to move into recreation. Learn about their fun time. Hunting, fishing, skiing, tennis, running, golf, swimming, boxing, football. Find out what their interest is. I was talking to a lady last week, her number one sport, who would think was boxing? Of course, she's Hispanic. Well, in Mexico, the two top sports are soccer and boxing. So if you know those kind of things, you know how to lead your questions correctly. Here's some more examples. Would you be open to looking at an additional stream of income that would not interfere with your current profession or your current job, if they have a job? Here's another one. I'm a little curious. Now, this is not going to work real good for you millennials, but it'll work for those of you that are maybe 40 or older. I'm a little curious, when is your retirement date? And man, if you just quieten up, you're going to see like people go like a deer looking in the headlights at night. I mean, they just go like, they don't know. Most of them can't give you an answer. The year and the month, when are you retiring? I mean, what does your retirement plan look like? Are you satisfied with it? I love that question when I'm dealing with 45-year-old, 50-year-olds, because a lot of them, again, it's like a deer in the headlights. They're looking at you like, I don't have an answer for that. I just know eventually I'm going to retire. Wow. That makes them kind of wake up. Questions are amazing. Now, if you tell them that they're making a mistake, you're going down the wrong path, and all you're going to do is absolutely insult people. Just good questions. Another good question is, are you able to walk away from what you're doing right now and still enjoy life in a comfortable financial situation? That's, again, for professionals and someone that's a little older. Or someone that's younger. How about this? Are you familiar with social media? I remember sitting down with Victoria Schlumbrecht, and she was this social media queen on Instagram. And I was just being that guy that acted like I didn't know too much. And I was just saying, are you real familiar with social media? Do you like Instagram? Are you making any money doing that? I remember, deer in the headlights. That was Victoria. She was looking at me like, huh? You know? But boy, her attention span, she stood up straight. Her posture got really good. Her eyes opened up and she started thinking, whoa, maybe I'm missing something here. And she started listening. That was the time that we started moving forward with good, solid questions to move her into a place where she would pay more attention. So again, are you familiar with social media? If the answer is yes, what type of social media do you utilize? Is it Facebook, Instagram? Is it Twitter? And what do you use them for? What if I could show you how to earn an income utilizing them effectively? Would you be interested? Question? Quite. When you ask a question, what are you looking for? An answer. Okay? So you don't ask a question and keep talking. You just kind of sit back and smile. And I can tell you, I'll remember that night sitting down in that restaurant where we asked those questions and Victoria started talking. And man, we just started learning everything about her. Where she was from, who her mother was, who her father was, what her background was, how did she get to LSU, how did that all happen, how did she end up moving with the neighbor next door? Good questions. And the whole time we were learning to see if she would have been a great prospect for us to spend our 60 years of experience, not that much then combined, Mickey and I, to see if that's someone we wanted to mentor and be with. Because believe me, we have choices of who we want to work with. And sometimes those answers don't come out perfectly the way that they should. And then you should know then who you want to spend your time with. If you could replace your income right now from investments and buy back your time, what would you be doing? Man, that's a good one to sit back and listen. See what kind of answer you get. Because it's leading to what you do in your business. If you slow down and you're patient and not try to overwhelm them and oversell them. Do you know anything about residual income? Are you familiar with e-commerce? Did you know that an e-commerce business could provide that type of investment income? Residual income? Then you come back residual. How about this one? Do you like to travel? And I have some people that say, oh, I love to travel, but I can't. Well, then what do you normally do? Well, man, I travel all the time. We can do, no, right away. Well, why not? Why don't you? Let them tell their story and get into a position where all of a sudden they're starting to think of where they are and where they could be. That's the magic in recruiting someone and bringing them in for 5 years and longer. Where they're with you the long haul, they see the big picture, they have vision. Most of us have good sight, but most of us don't have vision. We want to create vision. That's what good questions do. I'm a little curious. What would be a perfect profession for you? I'm a little curious. What would be a perfect job for you? And listen, if you had more free time, what would you do with it? If you had more free time, what would you do with it? Do you keep options open when it comes to bringing in an additional income stream into your household? Has the economy affected your profession any? Hello? You think that's a good one right now? Instead of telling them, man, people losing their jobs, why tell them that? Unless they're dumb and deaf, they know some things are happening. But with good questions, you're going to corral them and bring them in. Has the economy affected your job any? Let them talk. Let them bring that pain out. Because you're going to have solutions to those answers to those questions later, but not right away. So remember, don't overwhelm. Would you know anyone that would be interested in joining me in developing a business in this area and then grow statewide? Well, if you ask the right questions and it's someone that knows a lot of people nationally, I would probably say, and then grow nationally. But I wouldn't say nationally if there's someone that's just really caught in where they're domiciled in a small area. Do you enjoy helping kids become healthier? Why do you ask that question? Might be someone that works with kids. Might be someone that has a lot of kids. Great question. If they do, if you ask the questions earlier, form, and you found out more about them, that's a good question to come in later. If money and time were not an issue, what would you be doing? Man, that's a good one. Think about yourself. if I asked you that question, if money and time was not an issue, what would you be doing? See, I'm making you think. I'm making you dream. I'm making you have vision versus just sight. Questions are so powerful. So powerful. An attorney can go into court and ask the right questions of someone sitting in the witness chair, and they can answer it the wrong way and go to jail for their entire life from a question. Lives are changed with questions. What do you like about your current job? That's a good one. You didn't say, what do you hate about it? Do you hate your job? No, that's negative. What do you like about your job? Let them tell you what they don't like. They're going to tell you, trust me. What do you like about your profession? If I was talking to Lee Ellen, it would be, what do you like about photography so much? And then she's telling me she's all excited because she got this camera and everything. Well, it must be because there's good money in it. I bet you do real well. And then I'll smile. And then I'll find out if she's doing real well, won't I? But I compliment her. I don't discourage her. Have you ever engaged in a home-based business before? If the answer is yes, what do you ask next? What kind? What was your experience like? That's a good question. They say yes, but you got to pause and you got to listen. What did you like about it or dislike? You're bringing everything out. How long do you see yourself doing what you're doing right now? No matter what you're doing, you might be serving in a restaurant. You might be part-time photographer, hairstylist, registered nurse. Jill. So how long do you see yourself doing what you're doing right now? So if I was sitting down with Jill, I get to know Jill a little better. Hey, Jill, how much longer do you see yourself being a registered nurse? You looking to retire? And I answer, it may not be an honest answer. She might say, yes. Oh, wow, when? And then she kind of, I don't know. She's not gonna tell you, I don't know, but you can tell from the look and the body language, it's probably an, I don't know, but I'm leaving a subliminal message to make her think a little bit. That life could maybe be just a little bit better. And I might have the answer. I might not, but I might. I like this one. If you get I'm sitting down, let's say, and there's a family and there's 5 kids and they live in a home that's about 1,800 square feet. So I know what I'm going to ask them. If you could have a larger home, would that interest you? Duh. What do you think? Instead of telling them you need a larger home. See, that's not going to be effective, but the question will be, if you can have a car of your choice, what would that be? Guys fall all over that. They're suckers for it. Guys love cars, but most of them can't buy the cars they really love. So if you can have the car of your choice, what would it be? And you can find out if they're a car freak. Now, some young ladies, again, like Victoria, like certain cars. I remember she wanted this really fancy Jeep, but she got it. It happened because we made those dreams a reality. If you could have a car of your choice, what would it be? What would it be? Do you have children? And the answer, let's say, is yes. What would it be like to be available to them? I got to tell you a story. There's a young lady named Juliana Jacobs. That's a teacher with several kids. And she was teaching, getting a master's degree as a teacher. And she wanted to have kids. She didn't have kids at that time. And she was getting ready to have kids. She got pregnant and so forth. I remember Mickey DAIGLE sitting down and just talking to her. And here comes the question. Who's going to raise those kids? What would it be like to be available to them all the time? And Juliana started crying. Today, she's a national marketing director full-time because of a question. It started everything. Mickey asked the right question at the right time. In your current profession, how do you increase your income? In your current profession, for example, Rob, be talking to Rob. Rob, in your current profession, I admire what you're doing. That's admirable that you went to school, got a degree in the profession you're in. How do you increase your income? I want to know. Why? Because I want to let Rob know that I could teach him how to increase his income, probably an easier way, and maybe match it and even surpass it in time, but not right away. I don't tell him that. In time, he's going to learn that. Do you have any specific goals you would like to reach in the next 2 to 4 years? That's a good one. What are you doing to get yourself there? Whoa. Do you have any specific goals you would like to reach in the next 2 to 4 years? So let's assume that I'm talking to Megan. All right? So Megan, I'm asking her the question, and then I ask her, and she says, yeah, man, this is my goal. Boom. What are you doing to get yourself there? All of a sudden, there's silence. I don't know. I don't know. So what you're doing, you're helping to educate them, and you're going to help them have a plan to reach goals. If you found something that allowed you to spend more time, and let's put a blank there. If you found something that allowed you to spend more time, and you fill the blank in with something they like to do in their free time, from what you've learned about them from the earlier questions, would you be open to taking a look at being a business partner of mine? Because you found out what the hot button was. Okay, I got 2 minutes left. So I'm going to knock out a couple other questions and then shut it down. If they're very dissatisfied with what they're doing, you can ask, why don't you join me in my business as a partner? Why don't you join me in my business as a partner? But you don't do that immediately. You do that as you start reeling them in with the right questions. What is your free time like in the profession you're in? Man, that's a good one for Jill Finn. I could see Jill Finn working full-time as a registered nurse. I keep bringing Jill up, but then I know she's busy because registered nurses are busy. And then I know because I asked the right questions, she's got a staff of about 70 people. She's got a lot of obligations. So I've learned that from the right questions, and she's a prospect, right? So now here comes the question, what is your free time like in the profession you're in? Smile, quiet. And she's thinking, yeah, I get off at 4 or 5, but I'll work. She's thinking. She's trying to give me an answer, but she's thinking. By this time, you should know more about them. Now, here's a good one. Are you into sports and fitness? That causes good conversations if they are. How about your spouse? How about your kids? How about your boyfriend? How about your girlfriend? Do you have the free time to enjoy those moments and fun times as you would like? So now I'm talking to Patrick, and Patrick loves basketball. Man, he loves it, but he can't play it because his 40-hour-a-week job won't allow him to. And he's loving basketball. So here comes the question, do you have free time, Patrick, to enjoy those moments and fun times as you would like? And he's thinking in his head, well, I get off at 6 and it's dark. Well, if I can find a basketball goal with a light, I could maybe do it. So I'm leaving a subliminal message in Patrick to let him get back to something he would love to do. And there's a possibility we can make that happen. And I got so many more, man, so many more questions. But here's one have you ever thought of working for yourself part-time and decreasing your tax liability at the same time? Now, that's not at the beginning, that's toward the end. Without interfering with your present job, without interfering with your present profession. You know, with a steady income that came in monthly on work you did weeks or months ago interest you. I mean, I'm thinking I'm looking at Liel and I'm looking at Victoria, I'm looking at Patrick and Jill and the ones that have been with us quite a while. And they did some business a couple of years ago and they getting paid on it each and every month, some business they did one time. And you know, it's amazing to see that. Puts a smile on your face to think that you can help people get into that place. Can I get your opinion on something? That's a good question. Do you mind if I share a short story with you? Does any of this make sense to you? Would you be open to me sending you a short 2-3 minute video on our product? Would you mind me sending you a 2 or 3 minute short video on our business? Which would you prefer? Which would you prefer? Text, email, Facebook Messenger? What works for you? You've got to be available to do any one of them. You do what they're comfortable with. You don't say, I'm going to text you. And they're thinking, I don't like to text. Not everybody likes to text. Some people like to get phone calls or like to get an email, others messenger. So you got to ask the right questions. That's it. It's 8:30, shutting it down. Thanks for having me. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Carey.
Bye, everybody.
We need a part 2.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you, Mr. Carey.
Bye. That's awesome.
Good night. Thank you.
I was trying to